What if the biggest danger in a hospital isn't some superbug, but a mindset? Today, we're diving into a book that makes a powerful case against mediocrity in one of the world's most high-stakes professions. It's written for nursing students, sure, but its core lesson, it's for anyone who refuses to be just good enough. The author, Olalade EJ, kicks things off with a story that just pulls you right in. It starts with this one sentence. That smell, it's so sharp, so clinical, but as you'll see, it's masking something so much worse. So she tells us about this patient she'd been looking after for a whole month, a woman with a really severe leg injury. And the amazing thing was, this patient was getting better. And I don't mean just wishful thinking. I mean clinically, measurably better. The wound was healing, her vitals were good. She was even talking about what she was going to cook when she finally got home.
But right when this patient was on the cusp of a real breakthrough, almost ready for a skin graft, so close to going home, bam, a strike hits the hospital. The doctors and nurses walk out for 5 days, and the student nurses, our author included, are all sent home.
So when the author finally gets back to the ward, the very first thing she does is look for that patient's bed. And it was empty. Not like moved to another room empty, just gone. Someone new was already in her spot. She walks over to the nurse's station and asks what happened. And the response she gets, it's delivered so casually, so matter-of-factly. You'd think she was asking about office supplies. Just, oh, that one? She died. She couldn't accept that. She pushed for answers, and the truth that came out was just horrific. Turns out, even with some nurses on duty, nobody had dressed that patient's wound for 5 straight days. An infection took hold, she went septic. It was a completely preventable death caused by absolute neglect. And that heartbreaking story really shines a light on the real danger here. Yeah, burnout is real, the stress is real, but the book argues that the bigger threat is this quiet, creeping acceptance of good enough becoming the new standard. So, what is this dangerous way of thinking? Well, the book gives it a name. It diagnoses it as the average mentality. It's this widespread attitude that allows these kinds of awful, preventable things to happen in the first place. And you know where it starts? It often starts back in school, with what the author calls the just pass mentality. The idea that, hey, as long as you scrape by with a 50%, you're fine, because nursing is hard. But the book asks this chilling question. If you're only aiming for 50% competence on your exams, what exactly are you aiming for at a patient's bedside? And when you put the two mindsets side by side, the contrast is just stark. On one hand, being average leads to insecurity. You never really master your craft. And worst of all, you risk patient harm. But on the other hand, choosing excellence, that brings confidence, real clinical expertise, and most importantly, patient safety. To make this super clear, the book introduces us to a character, Average Angela. She's the embodiment of this mindset. You know her type. Sits in the back, kind of half listens. She crams the night before an exam just to scrape by. She does the absolute bare minimum on the floor. Never asks questions, never speaks up. She's not thriving, she's just surviving. Okay, so we've diagnosed the problem, but here's the good news. This book isn't just about what's wrong, it's about the solution. And the message is actually incredibly empowering. The antidote to being average, it's a choice. And this right here is the absolute key. Mediocrity isn't some personality trait you're stuck with. It's just a series of small decisions, a bunch of little compromises. But if that's true, then the opposite has to be true too. Excellence is also just a series of choices, ones you can start making right now. A huge part of making that choice is changing how you frame the job itself. See, if you view nursing as just a passive calling, it can actually become an excuse for being mediocre. But if you see it as an active profession, well, a profession demands high standards. It demands excellence. And think about the ultimate example, Florence Nightingale. She didn't just feel called to help. She saw soldiers dying from totally preventable infections, and she used data and strategy to fix the system. She professionalized nursing because she took intentional action. She refused to accept the status quo. Okay, so if excellence is a choice, how do you actually put that into practice? What does that look like day to day? The book lays out a really clear treatment plan, full of actionable things you can do to build a career, not just survive school. Here are just a few of the things from the book's Excellence Toolkit. Don't wait until you graduate to work on your CV. Start documenting your experiences as you go. Volunteer, but with purpose. Organize a health talk, maybe. Go online and develop new skills on your own time. And for goodness sake, build a professional LinkedIn profile now, not after you graduate.
And this is the question that all those actions are meant to answer. It forces you to be really honest with yourself. If you've only ever done the bare minimum, the hard truth is, nothing sets you apart. The whole point of the toolkit is to help you build a real, tangible answer to that question.
The book really builds to this incredible climax, what the author calls a manifesto moment. It's this powerful call to action, a challenge for you to draw a line in the sand and decide, right here and now, that average is no longer your standard. And this manifesto is a series of declarations. Things like, I refuse to accept average as acceptable. I own my professional development. I will not enable mediocrity in others. It's all about taking personal responsibility for raising the bar, not just for you, but for the entire profession. In the end, it really all boils down to this one stark, unavoidable choice. And this isn't about getting a better job or feeling proud of yourself. As that story at the beginning showed us, in this line of work, the stakes are literally life and death. And that is the powerful challenge from No More Average by Olalade EJ. It's a call to arms, really, to shift your entire mindset from just surviving to truly aiming for excellence, because every single patient you'll ever care for deserves nothing less.